Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2, the Elite Mod. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight, as always. And, of course, let's get into this game. We've got a 3-on-3 as our second episode back. I did a 1-on-1 earlier for you strategy fanatics, but now we're going to do a match for those of us that just like the chaos and carnage of 40k. So let's introduce our players. We definitely have some of the titans of Dawn of War 2 here tonight. We've got, starting on the blue team, Mr. Deuce Bigelow as the Force Commander alongside Zato, the Tech Marine, the man with the gun for any occasion. And last but not least, Floid, bringing on the Tyranid Force with that big mean Hive Tyrant. And then, of course, on the red team, we've got Mr. Max Power, the man who I think even built the map that we're playing on currently. And then his allies, ForestRadio as the eccentric mech boy, and then Caeltos himself, head man behind the elite mod as the orc war boss, apparently not intentionally. So Estia Province, a pretty big wide open map. We've got the power on the east side, we've got the contested VP in this great big wide open area in kind of the park in the middle of this Imperial City over there on the west. Our first encounters have some scouts fleeing from the orc forces combined over here. It looks like the red team's going kind of central here. They're pushing all three of their players over to this side of the map. We've got the Force Commander and his two orky friends getting ready to push into the Tyranid Force. They're not really going to be able to resist that, I think, unless those allies get back out here. Tech Marine was a bit timid initially, retreated his first squad of scouts, but went for 2 scouts right out of the gate, which is interesting. Everyone else going pretty standard. We got the double shooters, the tactical marines. Max Power saving up either for a second squad of those or possibly just dropping something big here in the ways of power shortly. But as it seems right now, orcs throwing out shots all over the place. Oh man, Warboss going straight with the first upgrade of the enhanced custom shooter. That's not something you see particularly often. Normally the Warboss is going for those big melee upgrades. Oh man, we've got mines, proximity mines on the field too from the mech boy. Lots of interesting war gear upgrades right out of the gate for the red team. We've got scouts coming out with their Sarge to try to put on a little more survivability and get those detectors to help deal with these mines. That was a pretty quick reaction from Zato there to get that detector to deal with the mines. Doesn't want to be harangued much at all. Warboss, wow, getting the angry bits too very quickly. The orcs not going for those big shooters out of the gate like we normally see, instead choosing to invest in their commanders. Warboss apparently bit off a little more than he could chew right there, and we can see Deuce Bigelow taking advantage of that early west side push from all three of the red team and taking out that power farm, not hesitating to exploit that open gen farm over there. I'm surprised they even dropped generators without having anyone over there to defend. Looks like they're just going to lose them. Scouts running around trying to drop some grenades, scaring off the Force Commander. And it looks like, yes, that gen bash is cut short. I think they got at least 1 generator, and they almost got the node itself, but didn't manage to cut it off, so the red team's not going to be too far behind on tech. Force Commander doing everything he can, but that's not going to be enough once he gets slowed down by those Termagant Venom Sacks. Unfortunately, leaving him right out in the middle of everything with all this ranged firepower. You got Tech Marine, you got 2 scouts. I'm curious what Zato's plan was going for the 2 scouts out of the gate over top of the tactical marines, which we normally see as the first purchase. But I'm not sure. Anyways, we can see no big shooters yet. ForestRadio has plenty of resource. Not sure what he's saving up for at this point in the game. Victory points about even up at this point. The game's still in its terminal stages. We've got this contested power node up here. I'm sure we're going to see that change hands a bunch of times. Both a Caeltos shooter boy is already upgraded, and his slug is apparently down rather quickly. Lost them in some engagement early on that I didn't even see. We'll have to get that in the picture-in-picture, I'm sure. And I'm going to stop clicking on things so much. We just want to watch it happen, man. We don't need boxy times. Watch how much I do this. It's a bad habit. I'm trying to break it. Anyways, down here, see, I just did it again. Down here, we've got Tyranids with their Raveners. Oh, ForestRadio's going for a super fast tier 2. He didn't buy anything, I don't think, other than those mines. Devastator here in the center of the map. Force Commander with the bubble. That's a little more common. Hive Tyrant with the bubble and the improved Synapse. So everybody's getting some interesting war gear. We're going to see, I guess, how that plays out. The Hive Tyrant, of course, the improved Synapse increases the health of all of the lesser gaunts around him. All the smaller Tyranid creatures getting a bonus from that Synapse. See if it comes into play here at all. Assault Marines coming onto the field for max power. Slug is in a lot of trouble. They might get out of there. They might not. One or two more shots. Heal coming in from the Painboy at the last second. Oh, but will it be enough? Assault Marines jumping in, but not quite quick enough to get the slashes off they needed to finish off that lone Slugga on the way home. Warboss went for an Angry Bit Stomp, but didn't quite hit the exit vector he needed right through that little narrow spot right there. Had to activate Hard Boys to get that Painboy out of there, and it's looking like he's going to have to escape. Meanwhile, up top, Shooter Boy's getting sent on out of there after trying to harangue some power. It looks like they didn't get either generator, and the scouts are going to go ahead and fix them up, pull out their engineering degrees that they got at the academy, and fix those power generators. Apparently something you need to learn in order to scout is how to fix electronics. Assault Marines jumping in, but right in the face of a Devastator. Let's see if the Force Commander can get in there. He's not quite going to do it. And that's going to be a routed push there for Mr. Max Power by the combined voices of Floid and Zato. And all the big guys playing here in this game. Seeing the enhanced custom shooter using Shoot 'em Good, I think? Man, I don't even remember. Let's double check that. Shoot 'em Good ability. Yes, indeed. I see it so rarely that I couldn't remember if that was actually what it was called. But the good thing about orc abilities is you kind of just say some random silly phrase, and that's probably the name of some fun ability. Did get the decap over here, so you can see Deuce Bigelow really keeping the pressure on the Gen Bashes. The red team's definitely been playing a kind of Western-centric game right here. They haven't been focusing on that eastern side, which has cost them a couple Gen Bashes. There we go, getting the aiming what's that, or no, not aiming what's that. More DACAs with those yellow circles are aiming what's that merely suppresses. The more DACA increases the range and output and knocks enemy infantry over. And the blue team just constantly on over these generators of the Reds. But we now have ForestRadio's first tier 2 unit out, while those of the blue team just now recognized how far behind in tech they are. This Death Dread right here is going to have uncontested reign on the field for the time being. Devastator's not going to be able to stand against this onslaught of orcs, especially with that Walker charging around. I think this would be a great time for the red team to try to get their own Gen Bash. And then look at these mines. Just the Mech Boy mines do very little damage as far as mine damage. Like the Artificer mines hit a lot harder. But these are just kind of disruption. They're similar to the Commissar mines that you use with the Global Call-In. They don't do a lot of damage. They're just there to kind of mess up your opponents and slow down their approach. Floyd has not gotten any warriors, so he's not going to be able to spot those. But you can see at least that the red team's getting a return Gen Bash here of their own. Because if you look at the resources, you can see that the red teams had to spend a lot rebuilding those generators over and over again. They're about 300 wreck a piece behind their blue team counterparts. You got the advanced targeters going down on this Death Dread, trying to at least dissuade it, but it doesn't look like ForestRadio cares at all. These Slugga boys managed to get the decap, completely bash the generators. However, this Death Dread's kind of scared out there by himself. Forest has to be very careful as all the teams are hitting tier 2. Yeah, he recognizes that and goes ahead and rampages on home. Still, as of yet, there's not a lot that can intimidate that Death Dread on its own. Oh, just as I say that, the Hive Tyrant's Venom Cannon pops right on out of here. So, Synapse, Warp Field, and Venom Cannon. So, I guess we're going to see kind of a support ranged Hive Tyrant this game. ForestRadio asking his teammates how those mines are working for him. I haven't seen them to too much effect, but I think even just slowing down, you know, whenever you're slowing down true movements, that can help a lot. Surprisingly so. If you've ever been en route to help your allies and try to cap a point and you keep getting knocked over by mines, it's very frustrating. Stern Guard veterans now on the field for max power as well. And a Razorback coming out for Mr. Deuce Bigelow. Deuce Bigelow has sitting on a huge pile of requisition. Wonder what he's going for. If he's not bought anything yet, he's probably going for a Dreadnought, I would guess. Caeltos just all up in everyone's business with that Warboss. Is he going to get out of there with those Gene Stealers? Just barely. The Weird Boy, however, doesn't look like he's going to be as lucky. Oh no, he had just purchased that Weird Boy. That's a huge loss, especially considering he didn't get almost anything out of it. And oh no, he's going to, even worse, explode right on top of all those Shooter Boys. That weirdo just popped right in the middle of everything. Force Commander trying to do what he can against an entire pair of armies, Tyranid and Space Marine forces combined. This Death Dread now under duress, getting slowed by that Melt-A-Bomb from the Assault Space Marines. Still, though, no, I don't think it's getting out of there. Not with rockets on the field. A couple more shots and that Venom Cannon. Down goes the Death Dread. ForestRadio tore into Tier 2, now tearing into Tier 3. Hopefully that won't be too huge a detriment to his team, because he really doesn't have a lot to support his buddies with at the moment. 308 to 450 as everyone's sitting in Tier 2 with the exception of ForestRadio, soon to be in Tier 3. Advanced targeting going down, trying to get some last minute hits on this army before it retreats. Scouts with a big old grenade, but landed right where it needed to, had those guys stuck around. Again, we're seeing the power change hands once again. That'll keep going throughout the match. That easternmost power always popping back and forth. Zone Throat coming onto the field for Floid. That hero unit artillery piece for the Tyranids. Scouts everywhere. So, Force Commander is going to be a force to be reckoned with, considering that the blue team really has nothing in the way of vehicles. If he gets into these pile of infantries while still having a lot of his health, same thing with this Warboss, both him and the Warboss, if they just get into the thick of things and start knocking stuff around, it's going to be very hard for the blue team to deal with that. Oh, Plasma Dev! Just insta-gibbed. Man, that was a sweet shot. That was some tax down for the blue team, unfortunately. Out of nowhere, they didn't see that coming at all. Force Commander still in the middle of everything, now getting knocked around by his own teammates' mind, unfortunately, but I think he's not gonna survive this particular engagement. At least gets knocked out. Will the Warboss get the final swing? He does not. One more swing, that Hive Tyrant would have gone down. Hardboy's activated on that Warboss. Now he's stomping around, getting some extra health regen. Caeltos is just running the field with the Pain Boy and the Warboss, keeping that Warboss healthy and letting him stomp around and do everything he can. The Orcs have not like huge forces, but they're using them effectively. Coming over to this side, it looks like we have a routed Gen Bash, and at the cost of a Shooter Squad as well for Mr. Caeltos. Tank Buster's getting a nice volley on that Razorback, but it wasn't quite enough, I would assume. Oh no, it doesn't have. I was going to say I assume it has an armor upgrade, but it did not. Surprised it survived that volley as well. Yet another Gen Bash coming down here for Deuce Bigelow, just constantly keeping the pressure on those generators. Caeltos was a little split right there, and I don't think it worked out. The Warboss is down, the Force Commander was down. 253 to 440. Despite seeming like the red team has been having a hard time holding on to the map, they're certainly well ahead in the victory points at this stage of the game. Ooh! I thought that Plasma Dev was going to just nail right in the middle of those Tyranid forces, but didn't quite nail it. ForestRadio already spamming out the flash kits. We got a pair of flash kits on the field. Tier 3 already. Floyd now joining the red team in pursuit of Tier 3. Mechboy's going to pick up his buddy, the Warboss, right here, and the Warboss is just going to charge right in. Nope, he decided against that. The scouts were ready to bomb him if he decided to stick around, though. And now we have this kind of big Tyranid ranged blob. We got both Termagants, we got the Raveners, and we got that Zone Thrope, and even the Hive Tyrant now hanging out in the range mode. The only melee on the field is those Gene Stealers, and I feel like those should really be kind of held back and hide and wait for these Assault Marines to jump in. Flash gets Stern Guard veterans, lots of ranged firepower here, and now the Force Commander trying to charge in, but Of course, that's the problem with the Force Commander against Tyranid, is that you're just going to get hit by those Venom sacks if you're not careful. Assault Marines jumping into the thick of everything, but they're not going to be able to stand for that. In a beautiful Assault Cannon barrage. Oh no, a few Orcs and a Stern Guard reduced to red pools of nothing. 230 to 400 right now, and I think we're going to see, once again, which has been the theme of this game, just red generators going down. I think the red team's been able to take less overall wreck damage, but man, they are losing gems. Blue team's making up for it by constantly taking out these generators. And in this box, who put this box here? How's the Plasma Dev supposed to shoot at that pile of nids with this box here? That's the worst. Ooh, scouts on a stealth mission in enemy territory. Are they gonna go for the? They're going for the double grenade. Nope, the Plasma Dev sees it coming, rolls the heck out of there. They're looking for it, but I think they're getting low on energy. They're not gonna get it right now. Here goes. Oh, will it move? 2 grenades. Oh, one survived. His 2 friends did not. The Stern Guards will be able to protect it though. It's gonna get out of there, and they have to retreat. Force Commander down on this side of the map. That did belong to Mr. Deuce Bigelow, but now he's heading into Tier 3. Floyd's got himself a Lictor on the field between the Hive Tyrant, the Lictor, and that Zoanthrope. Lots of singular unit entities on the field for the Tyranids. If he protects his Termagants, he won't really be dealing with wreck bleed much at all. Seeing some Tier 3 assault spots from Deuce Bigelow, that would be, I'm not sure if that's Overwatch or whether that's intentional. Not sure why he wouldn't just... I guess we'll see where those are going. I'm always hesitant to get assault squads, especially late game against Orcs, because Orc melee is so very powerful. There are some Nobs on the field. Let's see where this game is going. Slugger Boy's getting scared off. Face full of Tyranid is enough to scare off anything. 2 squads of Tank Busters now onto the field. Dealing with some of these vehicle threats, this Dreadnought's kind of running around uninhibited. And honestly, these Tank Buster barrages can do pretty heavy damage to these smaller Tyranid squads. Of course, that Hive Tyrant improved Synapse, probably, yeah, those Termagants survived that pretty well. Lictor, however, scaring off both of those squads. Nobs trying to do some damage, but I don't think they can stand against all that themselves. Looks like this Dreadnought in a bit of trouble. Looks like they might not be able to quite close that deal. Tech Marine, Mr. Zato activates his global repair right there, and the scouts there to help as well. Hard to go toe-to-toe with this Tyranid range blob. The position that the blue army is in is kind of bifurcated the red team armies. Really kind of kept them from teaming up, and when you're dealing with both of these big piles of range, it's difficult to do that. The Flash Gits and these Shooter Boys having tons and tons of range DPS, but there's just a lot of stuff on the field. They can't really just single out any one target here. Max Power calling out the Land Raider Redeemer while a Carnifex is coming out here for Floid shortly. Beautiful shot from that Plasma Dev. Man, I love Plasma Devs. Look at all those experiences going down. This Zoanthrope getting kills and kills and kills, returning the favor for that Plasma Dev artillery. You're going to say, I have artillery, and it's mobile, and it's alive, and it can slow down your vehicles. Very versatile, but very frail unit, that Zoanthrope. Scouts taking lots of fire from those Flash Gits. Still trying to get a couple more kills, but can't quite manage it. And every time we look onto the eastern side of the map, man, it's just Deuce Bigelow all over this gen farm. I don't know how many times it has to have gone down. At least 3 times we've seen this gen farm go down. 181 to 306. It's surprising to me that, as I mentioned, that despite seeming to lose the map fairly often, the Reds have been holding on to this central field here pretty well. Lictor's causing a little trouble over here for some Slugger Boys that wanted to take out a Devastator. I think they'll still be able to get it, but it might cost them a few models by that Lictor. Let's see if they can finish that last hit off. They got it, and they're going to get the heck out of there. Assault Marines jumping in on that Lictor along with the help of those Stern Guard veterans. Should be able to deal with that with without too much trouble. Lictor's just going to jump out, get on the stern guards, and get the support of all these Tyranids. Lictor does need to get out of there, though. Wasn't quite going to save him. Over on this side, we got the Flash Gits, we got the Tank Busters, we got the Nobs who are falling back against the Stern, or sorry, not the Stern Guard, the Vanguard veterans, and the Force Commander. I guess the reason I don't like Assault Space Marines against Orc Melee is because I don't really have a good means of disruption. I've got, being a Tech Marine kind of guy, I've got Bionics, and I have Scout Shotguns, but that's about it. If you can use 2 squads of Assault Space Marines in conjunction with this Thunderhammer and keep those Orc units on their back, I'm sure you can really manage to go mono a Orco with those heavier melee squads. Max Power's got his Land Raider coming out shortly. Zato's going to be not far behind, and that's going to lead to that kind of late game tier 3 stalemate till we see those Land Raiders go down. One or the other, because they will serve as forward reinforcement and retreat points. Those giant metal boxes. Terminators coming out, some super units starting to hit the field. It's only going to get crazier from here on out. Flash Gits and Shooter Boys just blasting away at scouts. Terminator's not overly concerned, it seems, though. But Caeltos and ForestRadio moving on in here. Really gonna have to do something about that Assault Cannon Dreadnought. It's just been constantly all over these guys. 170 to 283. And the Blues need to pull it together and get onto the field. I feel like they've been doing well in the engagements, but they just haven't been holding victory. Got a Carnifex with that Barbed Strangler, which is going to be excellent for the current makeup of this. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Just suppress the entirety of the Orc blob. Oh man. This Zoanthrope getting jumped on by some Assault Space Marines. They'll probably just get the Venom Sack and forced off. But the Land Raider of Mr. Max Powers over here ready to help out and serve as a forward base of operations for all of the Reds. Plasma Dev's going off, mark target on the Nobs. Carnifex retreating from those other squad. Is that both 2 squads of Nobs we've got out here now? Yes, it is. 2 squads of Flash Gits, the biggest shooters, and 2 squads of Nobs, the biggest smashers. And it's just chaos. It's pandemonium down here on this contested BP. The Blues are going to do everything they can to hold on to it at this point. Red's even trying to cap under fire, but have to be careful with that Barbed Strangler doing crazy damage already to those big forces. Force Commander doesn't even care. He's just knocking over entire forces of Orcs. Ooh, a little bit of friendly fire from that Plasma Dev, though. That was rough. Max Power recognizes that. That's something you definitely have to consider when you're playing alongside of melee forces, when you got those big AoE artillery cannons. Oh no, another friendly fire taking out 2 of his own Assault Space Marines. The Land Raider getting harangued. We've got the Cyclone Missile Launcher going down right there. Ooh, and the assaults don't quite make it inside the Land Raider. Down they go. Floid doing some serious damage with that Barbed Strangler, man. And look at all these scouts fully upgraded. Enemy Force Commander doesn't care though, but he's got that standard, so now that he's down, everything nearby is going to be dishing out even more damage at the sight of their fallen commander with that banner on high. That said, it looks like the Blues have held strong for the time being. The VP is neutral though, nothing's going anywhere, so we're going to be hanging out here for a while until someone does something with this victory point. Looks like Caeltos on the far side, sneaking around these tank busters, doing some power harass at this point in the game. Although I'm not sure it matters. Let's take a look. Yeah, everybody's at almost 300 power on the blue team, so cutting off their power at this point is still ultimately important if it's going to be a long game, but man, the Blues are sitting on a lot of resource. The Reds aren't doing bad themselves, but the Blues definitely ahead right now. Zato's ready with the Vendread. Looks like the blue team is trying to figure out their attack plan right now. This is always kind of the standoff you see in the big late game engagements. You see staging areas on either side of this contested victory point, and both sides are trying to figure out how they can probe around. You can see even the plasma dev, they can't even see out here, they're just attacking ground on this victory point, trying to make sure that no one gets that cap. Tank busters finish off over here. Some sneaky ninja capping going down. Unfortunately, these guys weren't quite paying attention. We've got Caeltos with double Ludas now with the beanie def guns responding to these now newer vehicle threats. We've got Carnifexes on the field, the Land Raider. This Razorback still hanging out at level 3 now. Plasma Dev vigilantly defending that victory point from what is actually nothing at the moment. Big armies at all sides. Scouts respond to the tank buster threat, scare them off, gonna get those points back for the blue side. No one's brave enough to move on this point though at the moment. Man, 2 squads of Assault Space Marines. Let's see, what's the first squad? First squad is level 3. Vanguard's about to hit level 2, and the Force Commander himself at level 5. And there it is, the teleport in, and then everything gets knocked over, followed up by these Vanguards moving in, and then a third assault jump right there. We've got the Venerable Dreadnought coming in on the back, the Line Breakers are in, the Carnifex is dropping the big shots, suppressing everything, and the Vendread scaring off that Land Raider. The blue team looks like they're going to get that point, sending in the Spore Mines as well for even more AoE damage. Spore Mines aren't going to do much, but they are drawing fire. Oh man, meanwhile, look what's going on up here. A nice flank by Caeltos with the War Boss and these Nobs. Managed to take out that Land Raider. Huge play right there. Along, oh man, with 2 beanie def guns, Nobs, and the War Boss. That Land Raider didn't stand a chance. However, the majority of the rest of this engagement isn't going well for the Blues at all. We're seeing, I think that was a Nob squad that might have gone down right there. There's only one now on the field for Caeltos. Rocks, orbital bombardment. Oh, Tyranna formation. I don't even know what's going on. This is madness. This is pandemonium. Oh my goodness. This is everything at once. Holy crap. I don't know what's happening right now. All I know is that there's one Land Raider still standing, and that's for the red team. They may have lost some squads, but if they can hold on here and keep the pressure on, they can still eventually push back this blue force. Tank Busters now putting pressure on that Assault Cannon Dreadnought. It needs to be very careful. There's the 2 beanie def guns back there. All of the vehicles on the blue team need to be very cautious at this point, and there is so much anti-vehicle on the field. Tech Marine getting smashed by Nobs up in the corner there. Tank Buster barrages going off, trying to find where that Vendread might have been standing, but didn't quite nail it. It had already relocated. Red's getting a good sneaky decap up top. They are now in the deficit themselves on victory points, if only by a little bit, so suddenly realizing they need to be paying attention to the victory points on their own. Land Raiders getting a little patch job in the back there. Spore Mines constantly popping out of these Barb Strangler Carnifexes. Those spore cysts just popping spores out left and right, keeping the red team constantly on their toes. Boss Pole also out, trying to get a little suppression resistance there for his Orc army. My goodness. I don't even know which direction this game's gonna go. ForestRadio has like almost no army left at the moment. Warboss picking up that Force Commander. Let's see if he's actually, yeah, he's gonna get out of there. Custom force field gonna allow that Mech Boy to pretty easily get the decap onto that point. Terminators, 1 squad for both of the Space Marines on this side of the field now. Assault Marines jumping in once again, and it's just bedlam in the center of the map here. Someone spent a lot of time making this park for this Imperial City, and it's just a crater field right now. Vanguards narrowly escaping death from those Nobs, upgraded with those hammers, with hard boys, getting that rage up, those rage circles. Another Cyclone Missile Barrage just going wide, just knocking stuff over. There's so many setup teams back there, just trying to keep them from shooting along here. 115 to 170 is a 2-0 cap for the Blues. If the Reds don't manage to push here, that could be just about it for them. ForestRadio bringing the tank out, Caeltos bringing the big the battle wagon. Floid, oh man, with the Doom of Malantai on the field as well. If that Zoanthrope and those Barb Stranglers weren't enough AoE, man, now we've got Paroxysm and Cataclysm to worry about. Space Marines trudging slowly forward onto the field. We've got another, is that an orbital bombardment going down right here, right on top of those setup teams? Let's see where the third beam lands. Not going to be the best shot, but definitely slowing down the damage output for the time being of the red team. I'm not sure. Oh, that looks like it did take out that plasma detonate. Not quite, but man, even more hell. Man, what is that? Hurricane, Cyclone. I don't even know what's going on here. This is just pure insanity, non-stop craziness. No, Caeltos loses his second Nob squad. Tankbuster Barrage going down. Will it take out that Venerable Dreadnought combined with those Sluta boys? Yes, it will. Carnifex is now moving back onto the field, though a bit beat up. This Land Raider constantly under repair, and now it has some more armor support. This tank coming out here too. Cataclysm going off there, knocking back all the Shooter boys from that Doom of Malantai. The battle wagons on the field too, but they're not really sure how far up they can move. Floid just has so few squads at this point. He has all these single unit entities. Oh my gosh, the Barb Stranglers, the Zoanthrope, that Zoanthrope, what level is that thing now? It's level 4, of course, doing huge damage. We've got another Rocks Falling here. Let's see what it does to that. Oh my gosh, how did that Carnifex survive? It took a big rock right to the face. I'm baffled that it is still standing. Warboss going for a kill on that Hive Tyrant. He gets the swing, but it's not quite enough. Hive Tyrant has a pretty huge health pool at this point. Something, oh, the Force Commander way back here behind the red team lines just barely gets the cap before he retreats with one lone Stern Guard there, sacrificing themselves for the sake of that victory point capture. Let's see what's going on over here. Scouts trying to do some sneaky capping. Once again, those two squads of Scouts scaring off Slugger boys. Caeltos up here with a squad inside that battle wagon. Both teams keeping a little extra. Ooh, nice shot there. Down goes the Termagants. Big boom shot from that looted tank. But yeah, we have both sides capping the opposing side's natural victory points here. 128 to 76. The red team's looking pretty sparse. I'm going to be honest. They don't have a lot on the field. ForestRadio's managed to recover by bringing a couple tanks out here. Definitely going to be bringing a little bit of hurt. Battle Wagon in a bit of trouble, but activates that Death Roller and gets the heck out. Orcs weren't messing around with that. 128 to 72. The blue team allowing the Reds to get this cap once again. Really, I feel like there's no reason they needed to let them get that cap. If they were just keeping an eye on that point, they could have scared that Warboss off pretty easily. He's only at about half health as it is. A minor mistake there. But the red team's still ticking away as their natural VP was captured in the middle of all that chaos here on this side of the map. Man, this side's just been where it's at. There's been very little over on the eastern side of the map yet. Down to one squad of Flash Gits. They are almost level 4 at this point, though. Caeltos getting some more Nobs. Man, the blue team should have closed this out while they had the chance. Now the red team's starting to get back into it. ForestRadio and Caeltos had both lost a lot, but they're bringing it back. Those tanks are going to be a pain. The red team, or sorry, the blue team rather, does not have that much anti-vehicle really. Like they've got Melta Bombs, they've got the Zoanthrope and the Doom. But that's about it. They got that rocket launcher. Not that those aren't fine and all, but compared to what the red team was rocking earlier, of course, yeah, he still does have both of the Beanie Ludas and, of course, that Tankbuster squad as well, and the tanks themselves. So it's going to be really difficult for these Carnifexes to approach as easily as they were earlier on. They're looking for an opportunity to get a cap here, but it's not going to be that easy. We've got some orcs vigilantly patrolling that lone victory point over there. Little couple shots going back and forth between those scouts. Terminators don't care. Those pea shooters. Venom Cannon, Hive Tyrant trying to harass that looted tank just a little bit. Blue team's moving in though, going straight for that victory point, kept another fire. Looted tank's not gonna have it though, gonna knock him right off of that. Tank Buster Barrage going off as well, and everything just opening up. Tank shots, beamy shots, assault cannons, bolters, and just complete chaos. One looted tank does go down. Oh, and a nice orb from Mr. Zato with the Tech Marine over there, stranding that looted tank out in the middle of everything. We might have another Terminator call in over here, right in the middle of... Oh no, that's not a Terminator call in. That's another Venerable Dreadnought. This Orc tank isn't quite gonna make it out of there. Out of control after a couple swings from those power fists off the Dreadnought. Land Raider Redeemer still allowing the red team to never really yield this point. 53 to 66 right now, and this could still go anywhere. One looted squad goes down, more Cyclone missiles dropping on that Land Raider. But still not going to be able to finish out that vehicle kill, I don't think. The beamies are just setting back up, and they honestly, the residual damage they do, I think they're hitting for a couple hundred on these. Yeah, that was 300 I think they just popped off. Level 2 Buddhas, both of them hitting those Terminators, doing a lot of damage. Those anti-vehicle weapons hit Terminators pretty hard. Another Cataclysm going off right there. Everything's still reinforcing, but I think this is just too much firepower for the Reds to reinforce on. Oh, another orbital bombardment. It didn't quite do much as far as the nuke itself, but it did force the Blues in an awkward retreat path forward around under fire from all these Reds. Caeltos again with the battle wagon way up here. Managed to take out another hero, getting the decap, keeping those victory points in favor of the Reds for the time being. They can't get that contested one, so Caeltos moves the battle wagon on up. These two Carnifexes, the Doom. That Zone Probe actually did survive. That's the thing with all these single unit entities, is that Floyd hasn't really had to worry about requisition at this point. You can see because he's sitting on about 600, no problem. Although Mr. Bigelow over there at about 12. Oh man, it doesn't look good for these Vanguards. He jumps out, oh, but he died. He lands dead. He hit that jump jet button just as a Nobs smacked him in the back of the head. His gem pack fired, but he didn't make it to the other side. Warboss trying to escape. He should be alright. He's got plenty of HP. 50 to 44. Terminators trying to get the decap. Let's see if they manage to do it. No, they get the heck out of there. This life drain paroxysm ability actually does some pretty significant damage over time to Terminators. Oh no! Doom! Doom, get out of there! That was dangerous. Almost lost it right there. Really need that constant artillery fire. Between these Venom Cannons, the Barbed Stranglers, and those two Zone Probes, man. It's really difficult for the Reds to approach this. They have their reinforcement point back here, but nonetheless, it's still difficult to get in there. We're now seeing Zato with a Predator of his own. Zato's lost quite a bit himself, both him and ForestRadio in the middle there, with only 3 squads apiece, or at least one squad and 2 vehicles for Zato. Everything's moving on in. Oh my gosh, look at all that constant yellow circle and flash from the Warboss and Boss Pole. Nobs trying to take out one of these Carnifexes. Yep, they're gonna get one. At least one. There's a second one on the field. This one's going for the Thornback finally. After going for 2 ranged Carnifexes, we're seeing the Thornback come onto the field. Level 4 assault squad knocking Nobs all over the place. Red Terminators capping under fire again, have to bail out though. Not too far considering with the Land Raiders hanging out right back there. Thornbacks charging on into the middle of everything. But I just don't think it's going to go down so quickly right here. These Buddhas probably almost, not quite level 3. There it goes, level 3 now. Oh, was just obliterated. That Predator. Gotta do the same thing. Look at the huge chunks of health they're taking off of this Carnifex. Oh my gosh. Assault Marines falling all over the place. Venerable Dreadnought in here now. 50 to 25. Nobs getting knocked back, just barely saving that Doom of Valentine. Venerable Dreadnought came down and instantly gets destroyed. Man, there's just too much happening. The Orcs aren't too worried about it at that point. Oh, Stern Guards narrowly escaping. Plasma Dev putting some shots out, not really getting too many solid hits though. Blues are trying to cap. Those Nobs are going to take him out pretty quick though. Those Nobs are level 3, along with that beamy and Buddha fire. It's amazing how much damage those things do to Terminators. That anti-vehicle fire has really been where it's at for the red team. Oh my gosh, we're 40 minutes into this game. This is insane. 50 to 24, still no VPs moving. Let's see what the Reds can do. Reds getting the cap. It looks like they're at least going to get a few more off of the blue team for the time being. Zato down to just a squad of Terminators and Tactical Marines. ForestRadio has some commandos on the field now. Actually sneaking up to get some more sneak caps on the point. Another Lictor out here, trying to do what it can to keep stuff from setting up. There's just so much range and firepower. Nobs don't even care about the entire army at this point. They're just tanking it away. They're not going to be able to finish that out. Ooh, but they get that zone throw. That level 4 hero zone throw. I wonder how many kills he had under his belt. Doom of Valentine didn't quite do it. 2-0 cap suddenly for the Reds, though. No, the Blues don't have anything over here to stop these guys. And that might just be the game. Finally pushing them back. Oh my goodness. Wow. Doom of Valentine almost goes down there right at the end. It does! With just a few seconds remaining on the clock and 0 points left for Blue. Red team takes it! Man, the Blues were playing so good, but they just never really kept pressure on the VPs, and it's surprising because I feel like early game I just saw the blue team was just tearing up this side of the map, and that's where 2 of the VPs are. I don't know. But man, I tell you what, Caeltos getting that flank and taking out that Land Raider nice and quick before the first engagement was even over was pretty huge, I think, in the long run. Like, being able to reinforce and, you know, cutting your retreat time by a quarter, you know, or down to a quarter, as opposed to retreating all the way back is such a huge boon. You can't take out that Land Raider. It's just so difficult to get the other team off of the field. But man, I don't know what to tell you if that didn't satisfy your lust for carnage and mayhem, because holy crap, that was insane. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Feel free to follow, like, subscribe, leave some comments. You know I appreciate hearing from all you guys. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.